Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today I have a bag for you, but I'm calling it a soap bag, and this I have designed for my soap maker friends and customers. And while I appreciate that a handmade soap will vary in size by the very fact that it is handmade, I do know that many are about 3.5 inches tall by about 1.5 inches deep, and sort of, you know, maybe 3.5 inches wide. So I've kind of made it for those sorts of dimensions, although actually it is 3.75 by 3.75 to this point here. By 1.75, and that's to allow for you to wrap your soap in tissue if you want to, or something like that. But this is designed for you, but it's actually a really good size bag, and you can see I've just popped that side in there. But depending on what you've got inside, it will resist. It will only fold in as far as whatever's inside, so you can put all sorts in. I'm going to show you how to make it. It's really easy. You need half of a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, which a full-size sheet of scrapbook paper is 30.5 by 30.5 centimetres, and you just whop it in half. Just cut it in half. Dead easy. I will give you the imperial measurements first. Don't worry, I'll put all the details on my blog. So you need to score it at 1 3/4 inch, 5.5 inches, 7 1/4, and 11 inches. So if you're going to do a metric version, you're going to score it at 4.5, 14, 18.5, and 28 centimetres. Then you turn it round and you score it again at 1 3/4 and at 5.5 inches. And for metrics, you're going to score it at 4.5 centimetres by 13.5 centimetres. And actually, I should have said in the beginning, although I work quite happily in imperial and in metric, for metric soaps, or metric soap makers, I've taken the average to be 4.5 by 9.5 centimetres. So, right, fold your score lines. This is the etc. paper, which I just think is lovely. I don't use it often enough, which is a bit of a shame. But I do think it is so pretty, and it's the rest of the papers of, I would say it's sort of maybe designed for a seamstress or somebody like that, because they're some beautiful papers that have got stitching and patterns and all sorts of things, and it's just lovely. And it's backed with very vanilla, which is again really nice. So sorry, I was saying fold in all your score lines. This top skinny one, you actually want to fold it in the opposite direction, because that's what's going to create this little lip, which is where you punch your holes in to put your ribbon. Let me tip that down so you can see it. That's going to create the little lip up there. Right, okay, let's get rid of some bits. Depending on which side you can see, you've got a 1 inch side, a 2.5 centimetre side, and then you've got a bigger 4.5 centimetre, 1 3/4 inch side. Over on the smaller bit, you need to remove the little one that is down at the bottom. So remove that piece completely, and then cut up all of the other score lines to the long horizontal one. Cut all the way up. Oops. Perhaps if I could hold my hand steady today. Let's cut all of those. Okay, move that out of the way. We need some sticky strip. I'm going to use Snail for Speed. You're going to put sticky strip on this section here, and then also when we come to build it, you're going to put it on all of the undersides, because this is a paper bag. And for my soapy guys and girls, you're going to be putting a heavier soap in it. You might want to put extra adhesive here. So you would put that on these bits here that are uppermost. Where's my back? That bit there, so that that would all stick down nicely. And then you're going to put it on this bit here. So basically, stick your adhesive on everything. Okay. Pop your soap in, or your gift, or whatever it is you want to put inside it, and then pinch, but you're holding on to these top bits here where you've made these crease lines, so you can see it's resisting on that side but not so much there. And actually that's because kind of, well, there's all there is inside this right now is air, but depending on what you put inside, it will only go down as far as you've put something in, but you will still be able to get the pinch closed. Okay, grab a hole punch. This is just a standard one I've picked up from a stationer's, and you want to punch through all of these bits here, because that's how we're going to close it. Because when you've tied your ribbon, it will close there. If you put your ribbon there, it's going to gape on the sides, and it's not going to be quite as pretty. It's not unattractive, but not quite as pretty. So, okay, right. I'm going to close that up in a minute. I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. I've got very vanilla cardstock. You can see I've been punching and stamping today. I've got the Creatively Yours set, and again, thinking about my soapers and my chandlers and others of you who buy these from me, I know this is a really popular set that with you guys. So, you know, it's got the handmade, it's got the deliciously, it's got hand stamped, and I'm having this one just made just for you, which I've got mounted up on my block. Got Night of Navy ink, because that is the colour that's here in the background. And actually there's quite a few punches that will go around this particular image. I've used it plenty of times before, but I'm using it today with the 1 3/8 of an inch circle punch. And I'm positioning it so that the words are closer to the bottom. And then I've got some more Night of Navy cardstock, and this is the label bracket punch, which I love. I would so love this punch. It's so versatile. Love it. Sorry, I'm getting excited about them. Dimensional on the back of that. And then onto the top there. And I have got some candy dots. Now I've got a Calypso Coral button for this one, which is the Calypso Coral here in the ribbon. But there isn't a Night of Navy one. I did consider putting, whoops, a vanilla one, but I kind of thought, well, that's just going to blend into nothingness. So I decided to get out my candy dots this time and get the Night of Navy one. Just at the top there. Dimensional on the back of that. Let me move all these bits out of the way. Find your front and your back. There's going to be a seam on one side, and that's your back. So we know when I put this one on the front. And now we can tie it all together. And again, there isn't a Night of Navy, not a ribbon that's got vanilla background. There is a Night of Navy stitched grosgrain, but it's got white inside it, which it just hurts me too much to use white and vanilla together. So I've got the denim ribbon, which I thought kind of went really quite well with the fact that we've got this sort of, you know, seamstressy type handmade paper going on. So you just feed it through from front to back, and then from back to front. Whoops. And as you tie it, it will draw closed quite happily. And like I say, depending on what you've got in it is to where it will stop and resist, and it won't close, it won't form this sort of shape any further. Just managed to tie my finger into this knot. There we go. And that is my super quick bag that is designed specifically for my soapers, but it actually will work really well. I mean, it is a good size bag box. You can see this is what I was trying to explain before. It will pinch in depending on what you've got in there as to how far it will resist. But it's great. It's a really good size box, and you know, obviously you can get 2 from one big sheet of 12 by 12. And if you put enough adhesive at the bottom, or if you put adhesive on all of the flaps, you can really happily carry a weighty soap in there. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Hope to speak to you soon. Bye.